the terminology of final rejection to the layman may look like something like final, but it's just a technical terminology. So much so that of the final rejection of the U.S. Patent Office, in the end, between 30 and 50% are granted, are approved.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Francesco Gardin. He's the CEO of Quantum Blockchain Technologies. Francesco, good to speak with you. What are the implications of the AIS Ultra Boost US Patent Office ruling on the 19th of March? And what does the company intend to do about that?
Okay, good morning, Stephen. Yes, it's very simple and standard situation. The final grant of a patent is the result of several interactions between the inventor and the patent office, in this particular case, the US Patent Office. And when our US patent attorney discussed with the examiner back in November the terms of the claims that would be amenable to the examiner, we thought that we had reached a consensus on the terminology of the claims, but clearly the examiner found some prior art subsequently, and this is the result of his further round of iteration. Now, the terminology of final rejection to the layman may look like something like final, but it's just a technical terminology. So much so that of the final rejection of the U.S. Patent Office, in the end, between 30 and 50% are granted, are approved. So we have now passed the information to the inventor. We will discuss it internally. We will call the examiner, which is an option that you have with the U.S. Patent Office, discuss our view, and then within the terms set, which are between 2 and 3 months, we will send back a robust response. So it's part of a process. And in my personal case, when I got an application, a patent application approved, a personal as inventor recently in 2023 with UK Patent Office, it was a process which went on for almost 2 years. Now, we're not indicating that we expect 2 years going back and forth, but it's the rule of the game. So we are a little bit upset because after the November conversation, we thought that we had reached an agreement, but clearly there is this new prior art which we will analyze, discuss, and move on.
And can you explain the message schedule arrays European patent publication from the 18th of March?
Yes, that's again part of the process that we filed the international extension, and then they republish the EP, which is the European Patent Office extension, which cover, I think 36 countries. So where basically the patent is now officially pending, and so we can have a claim of any company trying to infringe the patent in these 36 countries. So again, is a technicality, is a part of a process.
Can you explain why QBT filed the applications for these 2 patents and the 3rd patent in the first place, Francesco?
Okay, so let me put my professor hat on for a second. We only file patents for inventions which are related to hardware. And we felt that this was appropriate. We knew that it was a long process. And in filing the patents, especially the 2nd and the 3rd one, we made sure that some of the key information is not in the patent, in the sense that these 3 patents applications are about what is called the memory-assisted hashing, SHA-256 hashing, which means that unlike the current ASIC chips, which don't have a memory for information pre-computed, in all of these 3 patents add a memory to the chip for information which are pre-computed. Now, for patent application 2 and 3, this computation is done before, outside, and so even if somebody is trying to copy this patent, if they don't have the data that are going to be stored on the ASIC during the hashing, they cannot take advantage of this. And so this is a clear strategy that is a different kind of ASIC chip for Bitcoin mining, which are memory assisted. So unlike these chips, there is information that is pre-processed or information which is kept during the execution, because usually during the computation of a SHA-256, information is lost as soon as it's generated and used. So it's a totally new and innovative approach.
You published a photo on X of the mining rig that's arrived at the QBT lab at Milan University. Why does it look like a black box, Francesco?
Okay, so thank you for asking this question. Basically, we managed a delivery from Oregon to Milan in 48 hours, maybe 72 hours, which is quite remarkable, I think. And of course, we were directly involved in this. And once installed the miner rig in the lab, in our lab at the University of Milan, we took pictures and we took a video, and we felt that it was nice to share them. However, the company has an NDA in place with the ASIC manufacturer, and we couldn't just show the picture, because otherwise anybody could figure out which ASIC manufacturer it is. So we unfortunately had to post-process the image and just paint it in black. But I mean, we had no option, because I mean, we signed a strong NDA.
Francesco, thanks as always for your time. Thank you very, very much also for updating us.
Thank you, Stephen. Have a nice day.
Francesco Gardin, the CEO of Quantum Blockchain Technologies.